What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful Labor Day weekend out there, staying safe, having a good time, taking a break from the world as we know it. And for today's video, I want to talk some more about the SRT-4s. I've been involved, as you know, if you've seen my previous videos, that since they came out when they were brand new. I bought one just like this electric blue one back in 2004, and this is the third one that I've owned. And of course, there was a few years in between my second one and this one I've got now that I've had for over 3.5 years. And of course, lately I've been on a lot of the forums, been on the various Facebook groups and stuff, and there's definitely been a trend the last few years that these cars they're not quality cars, that they're junk, they're crap, all this stuff. And so I wanted to go in and do a video on clearing the air and giving you an idea of what the reality is with these cars. So back when these cars came out, if you haven't watched my review on the SRT-4, I highly recommend you check it out. That when they came out, it was the fastest car under $20,000. It was at the time when your Evos and STIs were approaching $40,000 on the price point. Having this car coming in under $20,000 was pretty remarkable. Now, granted, it wasn't all-wheel drive like those two are, so it definitely helps on the cost. But the car was also faster than a lot of cars that cost a lot more money when it came out. And so, of course, as the car progressed over time and it started changing hands, being based on a Neon platform, the depreciation curve, it got a lot cheaper, and of course now you can buy them as cheap as like a couple $1,000s for one that runs. And as a result, over the years, that has led to a lot of lack of maintenance, improper maintenance, and a lot of abuse on these cars. And so now it's really difficult to find one that's actually not crap and cobbled together. I mean, this one here, I spent over a year searching before I actually pulled the trigger and bought one that was a clean car. And even still, when I bought it, and yes, it was a clean car, but I still spent like 3 months sorting things out, getting it to where I was happy with it, and of course, continued modifying and upgrading it over the years that I've owned it. And so I can definitely understand why there's definitely a feeling out there that the SRT-4 is a junk car just because they haven't been well taken care of. But speaking as somebody who owned one when it was brand new, I can tell you the car was absolutely solid and robust. The problem has just been a lack of care over the last 15 plus years. And so when I got my first one back in 2004, it just took general maintenance for the entire time that I owned it. And it had like 80,000, 90,000 miles on it when I totaled it. And so that was, of course, unfortunate. But up until that point, the only thing that had gone wrong with it was about 75,000 miles, the water pump started to leak. So we got that repaired, and other than that, everything was great, just oil and tires. And so it was a really solid car. I used to commute in it. I was driving 100 miles each way, 5 days a week for a couple of years while I had it. And so it was just a great car. And of course, some of the design stuff you can complain about, but at the end of the day, it was only a $20,000 car. It wasn't a Mercedes or a BMW or whatever else. It was still just a Neon that was heavily modified from the factory. And so they're really a great car, assuming you take care of it and spend the money on the proper parts. And when I bought the car, I paid, I think, like $7,000 for this one. And then I ended up spending like another $3,000 or $4,000 in the subsequent couple of months and couple of years getting it up to where I wanted, going through and doing all sorts of maintenance, replacing hoses, sensors, brake components, upgrading turbo parts. I just doing some stuff that was necessary to get it up to snuff, but other things just to make it go faster. So overall, if you're on the fence on whether or not you should buy one of these cars because you are debating on whether or not it's a quality car and it's going to hold up, I definitely wouldn't let that deter you in any way, shape, or form from purchasing one, because they are a great car, they're a great value, and they really perform insanely well. The problem has been, unfortunately, a lot of the owners over the last 10 to 15 years just letting them go and not spending the right amount of money that needed to be spent to keep them in the condition that they should be. At the end of the day, they only made a few thousand of them per year for the 3 years of total production run. So it was a really rare car in the first place. And then a lot of them, of course, because they were in the hands of younger folks when they first started out, because they were such a reasonably priced car, that a lot of them have been abused and destroyed and totaled. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I totaled one, unfortunately, in a rainstorm. And so finding one out there that's clean, in good condition, that hasn't been abused, is definitely a challenge. And I've been talking to a friend of mine who's been searching for one for a number of years, like I have, and just hasn't been able to come across a good clean one in his area. And so I definitely understand and can feel the pain of finding a good clean one, but they do exist. Finding one's probably going to cost you a little more money than one that's been beat, because like I said, I think right now the average price is you can pick them up between like $3,000 and $5,000 for an average priced one. And of course, if you want a good clean one, you're going to spend north of $10,000 for a good clean one that doesn't need any work on it. I've seen a few of them that are basically museum pieces go for north of $20,000. So the market's definitely there. The cars are definitely out there that are quality, but you got to search for it or be prepared to spend a fair amount of money going through and getting it back into the condition it was when it wasn't beaten on. And then once you get it in good shape, they're usually pretty trouble-free, like my first one was, my second one, and even this one now. And I've had this car for over 3.5 years now, and once I got everything sorted out, this car, knock on wood, has been a rock-solid, amazing car that I just love to drive and go out and put miles on it and hang out with my friends with it. So I hope you found this information useful. As always, if you did, smash that like button, give us a thumbs up for that YouTube algorithm. And as always, if you want to be kept up to date to all of my videos in the future, don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below, and then also ring that notification bell as well, so that way YouTube will keep you up to date of all of the videos that I do in the future. And as always, guys, I will see you the next video.